Main event chess match brought to you by the Chess Club of Fairfield County. Um, I'm Ian Harris, and my co-commentator, special guest today is Andrew Ryba. Welcome, Andrew.
Hey.
And then for our players, just some quick introductions before the games get going. We have Kapil Chandran, FIDE Master, in the top left corner. Welcome, Kapil. And we have FIDE Master Uni Kim joining us in the bottom left corner. And a little bit about each player. Kapil is currently finishing up his last semester at Princeton University. He has represented the United States at the World Youth on multiple occasions. He won the prestigious Denker Tournament of High School Champions and has an IM norm. And Uni also just is a college student. He just started his first year at Yale University and is the current Connecticut state champion and also has an IM norm. So we're very excited. It's going to be a fun match today. And welcome to everybody. Thank you for agreeing to play. And well, before we get started, any last words? Kapil, anything you'd like to say?
No, thanks for having us and organizing this. It's a fun thing to do during times like this.
Uni?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully we have a fun match.
Should be. Okay. So the players, good luck to you. If you can go ahead, and they're going to turn off their microphones so we can't hear them talk. We'll be able to watch them during the match, and then they won't be able to hear the commentary either. And they're going to go ahead and get started. As soon as you guys are ready, you can start. So good luck. And so while we wait for them to start, I'll just go over some of the details about the match. We will have 2 rapid games, and to start, 15-minute time control with a 2-second increment. Let me just pull that up here. Yeah, so this is the format, and each of those 2 rapid games are going to be worth 3 points each. After those 2 games, there will be a blitz segment. They'll play as many blitz games as they can fit with time control of 3 minutes and a 2-second increment, and each of those games will be worth 1 point each. They will play those games until 5 o'clock when time expires for the match. And also we have their lifetime record. These 2 players, even though they are both from Connecticut, have never actually faced each other in a classical chess game. 0 wins, 0 draws for either player. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And Andrew, I don't know if you want to venture a prediction on the match, but
I don't know enough. I've never played either of them, so I don't know enough to say for sure. I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, surely it's very close on paper. They're both very evenly rated. And
Yeah.
Okay, let me just pull up the game here. They have started, and we are off. We'll just go back through the moves here quickly because we missed the very first bit. But let's see. So we have a Rui Lopez for the first game. And I don't know how familiar you are with this, Andrew, but I'm not so familiar with this setup that Black is doing here.
Yeah, I've looked at it a couple of times, mainly from the white side to see what to do against it, and this. I mean, I guess it's a more ambitious way to play for Black, trying to get some imbalances with the fianchettoed bishop. And it looks, I mean, white setup looks pretty solid here. I've sometimes seen plans with d4, getting rid of the knight on c6, but I guess this is going down a more quiet route. I guess Black now is probably aiming for some knight f4, f5 type setup.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, I'm not surprised that the players are being a little bit conservative in rapid because there's a lot at stake. I mean, 3 points for one of these games, you make one mistake, and that can really put you behind early, and you definitely don't want that.
Yeah, the blitz games count for 1, and the rapids are 3, right?
Yeah, each rapid game is 3, so you lose one rapid game, it's going to be a lot of pressure to make a comeback in the next one.
Right.
But looks like Kapil's taking his time here
Yeah.
in this position. I wonder. I don't really know what the plan is here. Yeah, I mean d4 at some point, counterattacking in the center, knight f1. Yeah, that's a typical kind of maneuver for white, is to bring this knight around to g3.
Yeah.
Which will
And
be
in
a
this
good defender.
case, it also if knight f4 now, you have the option of taking it with the bishop, and the pawn on d3 is no longer under attack.
Right. It does sort of prevent black's plan of knight f4. So maybe black will play f5 and knight to f6 instead. That's a good alternative, I suppose.
Yep. On f5, do I have anything with, say, my pawn takes f5, and if you go pawn takes, knight takes e5 stuff, or is...
Yeah, the idea is f5 takes, pawn takes, and then knight takes e5 opens up a discovery on the knight, and that might win a pawn for white. So maybe black can't rush with f5. They have to prepare it a little bit first.
Yeah, so he went king h8.
Yeah.
Guess that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that also avoids any sort of... that
Queen
shows to me that he
b3,
definitely wants to play f5, because any sort of queen b3 check is now avoided, where maybe there's tactics on the b7 pawn, or you just
Yep.
want to avoid any checks. If you're not in a rush to play f5, then it makes sense to just tuck your king into the corner a little bit. And hello to everybody that's watching. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We'll be happy to answer. And I see we already had a question for Kapil, but Kapil is already playing, so we'll have to try to catch up with him at the end. He was, I'm sure he's very good friends with Andrew Tang, since they're both Princeton students. And yeah, actually, for predictions, I keep forgetting that if I ask you, I should probably give my own prediction for the match. It's not really fair, a little bit one-sided. But yeah, I don't know. I do think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to come down to blitz, and well, the bad news for Kapil is, although he was online last night, both of them were online last night practicing. So they're definitely taking the match seriously. But the bad news for Kapil is I managed to get a game off him, so that doesn't bode well for him in the blitz. So I'm going to go with Yoon in this one.
There is also, I don't know how much this means, but there is a big divergence in chess.com rapid ratings, I guess, between the two of them. Maybe Kapil doesn't really play rapid on chess.com.
Yeah, it might be a little bit misleading, because I'm not sure how many rapid games he's actually played. I think the last match we had 2 experts playing, and they had like 1,600 ratings for the rapid portion, just because they hadn't played a lot of it yet. So yeah. So those ratings that you see right now might be a bit misleading. It'll be definitely more accurate when we get to blitz, and I think that Uni has the advantage there by a little bit. But but the ratings are on the broadcast. I mean, Kapil is at 2470 USCF and Uni at 2447. So it's about as close as you can get, really.
Yeah. So he went d4 here, and I guess now if f5. Well, there's probably just some e takes f5 and then d takes e5 stuff.
Yeah, same sort of tactics. So what does black do to get f5 in? That's a little bit annoying. Or you have to be willing to take with the bishop or the rook, perhaps. Well, you can't take with the rook because it would be g4. But
right.
But you could maybe recapture with the bishop. I don't think that's what black wants. Yeah, taking in the center makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. Now I guess pawn takes probably going to happen.
Yeah, pawn takes, and then I do kind of like white's pawn center there.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, we have a question from Anonymous 2455. Are you retired from chess? Well, you're
um,
here.
yeah,
I assume they mean from playing chess.
um, for the time being, I don't know. I would like to play more. Every year I keep thinking like I play one tournament or I'm preparing for one tournament and I'm like, this is so much fun. I got to do it. I got to get back into it. And then somehow it's so much work. And so I don't know. Maybe in a few years I'll make a proper comeback.
Oh, good. Yeah, well,
It's definitely
you won our top dog challenge this year. So
yeah, first time in 3 years.
yeah, so that was good. So that is not a
Yeah.
not an easy tournament.
Right. So I can retire from that. Retire at a high note.
Yeah.
I still play Blitz online quite a lot.
Yeah. Chess players never really fully retired, I don't think.
Yeah. Easier to play Blitz than watch. Oh, so he played Knight takes D4.
Interesting. I
I
guess
guess
that really.
that's
Go ahead.
yeah, it stops at 5, kind of. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, is there anything with knight takes knight here, and then the bishops are aiming at each other? I guess white would play. Oh no, that bishop's protected by the queen. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so he could take D7 there, or he could just recapture it.
yeah. So that's not a big deal, and the queen does a good job kind of guarding everything, the center and the bishop. So white should be fine if any captures happen here.
I guess the annoying thing for Black is now Knight F4 isn't really an option. Before he took out D4, there was always some Knight F4 possibilities, but
Yeah, you don't have this pawn guarding f4 supporting a potential knight invasion with that. So now the knight on h5, potentially could be a little bit misplaced. It might have to move back to f6 at some point. But black would prefer to do that probably after playing f5. But also the bishop is a little bit blocked by white's pawn chain. The b2, c3 pawns kind of blunt that bishop's power a little bit. So probably black was really hoping that he would have taken with the pawn and not have to have his bishop facing this strong pawn chain.
yeah. And something like Queen H4, so to try to get an attack, doesn't really do much because the knight on F1 kind of holds everything together. I guess the question would be what White's plan should be if Black kind of does nothing. Like if Black goes, I don't know, A6 or something. What do you do for White?
Yeah, I mean maybe part one would be rerouting the bishop from a4. Is it really doing much there? I might stick it on c2. If black's going to do nothing, maybe we can try to improve our position a little bit at a time also. But yeah, I mean it's a little bit hard to play for both sides, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a position where you kind of wait to see what your opponent does and react to it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Nope, there's no question from Anonymous 9564 asking if there's any prize for this. There are no prizes. No physical prizes, at least. They're definitely playing for glory, pride, but no, we're not offering any prizes. And yeah, all the players that have done our matches so far are doing it for the fun of it, and I think they've really enjoyed it. I know that I have enjoyed commentating on these games. We've had some very exciting matches, and I don't think that this one's going to be an exception.
Yeah, I mean, I think the format just means it's going to be exciting. Rapid plus blitz, they're going to be fireworks for sure.
Yeah. Although this first game, I feel like they're taking their time. Things aren't heating up quite yet, but I'm sure they're going to. Once the players are a little more comfortable, look at the feel for the match.
Yeah. I'm wondering if Black could try something like Knight E5, and then I don't know. I was thinking of following it up with C5 at some point, but that might weaken the D6 pawn.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you go knight f95, then where are you going to go after... I was thinking maybe I could chase you, but okay, he's taken in the center.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense, because now white has to take back with the pawn at some point, and that bishop on g7 might be a little bit more powerful now that the pawns aren't supporting each other on The B and D pawns are a bit separated.
Yep. So now, should black take on a4?
Yeah, I was just wondering about that. That's kind of an important decision. I don't know. I think the bishop on d7 is not doing too much at the moment. I mean, it supports f5, but maybe that plan's out the window now.
Right. I mean, if you take on a4 and the queen then comes to a4, you can now probably, if you want to go f5.
Right. If you want to play f5, then you could do it because the knight won't be attacked by the queen anymore, assuming the queen has gone to recapture black's bishop on a4. Yeah. But on the other hand, if black doesn't want to play f5, then you don't really want to be doing trades unless it helps you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that f5 is really that great for black anymore. I'm not sure that he's going to get a big attack on the king side. Maybe. I could be wrong. But
could also take on a4 and then queen f6 maybe. Try and put some pressure on the d4 pawn, and maybe get some knight f4 stuff coming.
Yeah, I just feel like white just plays bishop to e3 and protects everything.
Yes. Bishop e3. Maybe I go knight f4.
And yeah, I mean, I might be able to take your knight, or maybe I can just ignore it. Can I ignore your knight? Is there a threat?
Well, my thinking was after knight f4, I could follow up with maybe a queen g5 type move, or I could go knight e6 to hit the d4 pawn once more. If you then push it to d5, you might have to worry about b2, or I come back to f4. I don't know. It's
yeah.
I don't see anything.
Sure, it makes sense to me. I mean, and black's best piece here potentially is the bishop on g7. So anything you can do to open up that diagonal before white finishes their development would be good, as long as he doesn't create too many weaknesses.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, black's really thinking here, and actually now he's gotten into a bit of a time deficit.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. That could make it interesting soon.
That could definitely make it interesting soon. 5 minutes is significant in this time control, and I mean, Uni's used up 10 minutes, and they've only played 13 moves.
Right.
So I mean, he's gonna have to move soon because there's a lot of game left here. I feel like. Although I kept saying that the last match, and they kept offering draws, so. Okay, rook e8. Makes sense. Start, centralize the rook, get some pressure on the pawn. And he kind of puts the question back to white. Okay, if I just sit here and improve my position little by little, what are you going to do?
Yep.
Which is also a good question.
And now maybe if he does ever play that f6 again, he'll do it with an actual attack on the e4 pawn.
Yeah, so the move order here is important. Go rook to e8 first. Add a little pressure to the pawn, and that way, when you want to bring your knight back into the game, at least you do it with tempo attacking the pawn. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I might just go bishop b3 here for white.
Yeah, because you don't want to have to calculate every single move. What happens if black takes? What happens if they take? So moving that bishop somewhere, b3, yeah, that makes sense. c2 might be good as well. But yeah, b3 and hitting the f7 pawn now is weak.
Yeah, it's kind of just to ask the question, like, should the rook really be on e8?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe queen e7 in that position, something like that. But
yep.
I mean, but you don't really want your queen being x-rayed by this rook on e1 either. So.
Right. So queen e7, you're not. Yeah, you're kind of in line with the rook. It doesn't.
Or maybe. Yeah, and I guess you can't really go queen f6 because. Let's see if
is there e5 there?
Yeah, if bishop queen f6, then I was worried about e5 and some captures happening and the bishop on d7 maybe hanging in some lines. I guess e5, pawn takes, and then the bishop's under attack, the queen's under attack. I guess you can move your queen away.
Yeah, you go queen e7 there.
Queen back to e7. Yeah, and yeah, maybe black's doing fine there. Although the knight doesn't have the f6 square to retreat to anymore. Might be one issue.
Right. I mean, so like a g4 type thing might occur. I mean, that might just be a little too. Yeah, bishop c2 is, I guess, the more. It's a reasonable choice. You're just aiming down at f5, h7, just controlling this diagonal.
Yeah, and of course protecting the pawn again. So now knight f6 doesn't actually come with tempo.
Yep. I mean, I think I slightly prefer white here. I think all of his pieces are kind of reasonably placed.
Well, they're definitely flexible. I feel like multiple squares for each bishop. White can decide when they want to play e5 or d5 if the moment calls for it. I mean, he's got more space, so I like that. And the knight on h5 still doesn't really have much of a purpose, I feel like. And actually, the bishop on d7, what are you going to do with that bishop? If you're black, you've got to be wondering, where should it go?
Yeah. That's why I kind of thought maybe black should have traded it a few moves ago. Just I don't know where the best square for that bishop is. You could maybe play like bishop c6 or something.
And try to provoke d5.
Yeah. At least that brings the g7 bishop to life.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first thought as well. That seems like the only square for the bishop. I mean, you can go to b5, but you're hitting the knight, but that's well protected, and the knight could move out of the way at any moment. So yeah, bishop c6 maybe. Probably won't. I don't think white's going to play d5 if you go there. So in that case, maybe bishop c6 is the move. I don't think white wants to play d5, opening up the bishop, but also, maybe e4 is going to be hard to advance and a potential weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting a little nervous for Uni with this time situation. I mean, there is a 2-second increment, but that's not really enough to... maybe for him it's going to be enough to hold on to this game, but that's the pressure's going to be building the longer he thinks in this position.
Yeah. If he's under a lot of pressure, the 2-second increment's not going to do much.
See if I can see how they look. Yeah, I mean, they both look super focused, which is not surprising. Okay, so a5. What's the purpose of this move? I mean, maybe he just feels like he needs to get some space on the queen side, perhaps, but...
Yeah, and maybe if white ever goes for b3 or something, he has some optionality of going a4. This also kind of stops white from expanding with like an a4, b4 sort of setup. So after bishop c6, he never needs to worry about b4 coming. Although I'm not sure if it was much of a threat anyway. I guess he also now has the plan of maybe just playing a4, a3 himself, and then following that up with c5.
Yeah, something along these lines to try to go c5 and open up this bishop, and get the pawn up to a3 or something like that. Yeah, he's definitely trying to play for something on the queen side now. Thanks a lot for everybody who's tuned in to watch. As I said earlier, if you have any questions, want to give your thoughts on the match, or have somebody you're rooting for, or any prior experience playing, we do have two young Connecticut players here. Both grew up in Connecticut, so some of you in the chat may have actually played them on occasion. So if you have any insights for us, would be helpful. They've never actually played each other, but if anybody wants to render a guess as to who is the favorite in the match, we'd love to hear from you guys. And any other questions you may have. Okay, so the knight finally comes back to f6. Yeah, so e4 is under attack. Maybe white can just play f3. I don't see anything wrong with f3 here.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's played it. Yeah, he didn't really want to have to. He wants to wait for any sort of pawn advance until it makes sense. It has to be the right moment. And right now, White's not really in any pressure to open the position. He's ahead in so much on time that he can just let Black kind of think forever.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any real weaknesses here either. If Black wants to create some, he needs to kind of make some of his own. Like a move like c5 would be very risky for Black here. It would create a lot of weaknesses on around d6, and f7 could become a weakness later. He's trying the a4, a3 plan.
Yeah. Yeah, and the idea is to go a3 and just once again try to create some sort of opening for this bishop to the rook.
I would be tempted to just ignore it and just go, like, say, queen d2, and after a3, go b3. I'm not that worried about c5 because I could just play, like, rook a d1.
Or slide the rook over to the center. Yeah, and that feels like White's pieces will be operating very harmoniously in that position. Yeah, I don't think Black's threats really have much teeth to it here. Okay, so he's gone rook c1 event right now. Potentially he'll be hitting that c pawn if Black ever wants to move the queen away. That could be a potential weakness. Yeah, I like though what Kapil is doing. He's just slowly. He's not trying to do anything too aggressive immediately. He's just slowly improving his position and making Uni think a little bit about what he wants to do.
And with the time situation, by the time Kapil does go for a breakthrough, Uni's probably going to be very low on time, and it's going to be kind of critical.
Yeah, he's going to just if there comes a time to do some complications and tactics, then he'll wait until Uni is pretty low.
So, what do you think the plan with knight g8 is? Just kind of to maybe he wants to go f5, or maybe he just wants to keep things solid around his king.
Oh, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. Could you say it again?
What do you think he was going for with knight g8 in this position?
Oh, knight g8. I mean, maybe he wants to play f5 again, or he's just playing extra super solid just to guard the dark squares around his king. I mean, White's not really threatening anything. I mean, the only thing I can think of is to play here, or maybe reroute the knight to c6 or something like that.
Yeah, he probably wants to keep the option open for f5, and you're right. I think this does guard the dark squares around his king a bit better. Is he actually threatening to play f5 at the next move? I don't know. If we go queen d2 for White, I wouldn't really be that scared of f5 here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably ignore it even. Yeah. You don't have to really do anything. Okay, so we have some opinions coming in on the match. Let me just catch up here because my chat wasn't updating. Okay, we have mixed results. M. Koganov says my money is on Kapil. Slav says my money on Uni. Anonymous 2455 says I think Uni is a blitz monster. And let's see, Anonymous 2455 also says Kapil is super strong and he only dabbles in chess. Imagine if he was all in. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the fact that Kapil has managed to stay as strong as sharp as he is, while also attending Princeton, to be able to keep up with your chess and do that at the same time is difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It's very tough to when you're close to IM strength to be able to continue to play at that level while working full time on a challenging college experience is not easy.
Yeah. And I think did you go to Columbia? If I'm not mistaken, you were at Columbia, so you had similar experience, I suppose.
Yeah, I did. And for me, Columbia had a pretty strong chess team, so like I would sort of keep up with chess by playing in their chess club every week. I mean, I was a bit weaker than Kapil. I was around 2,200 at the time, and I actually improved at Columbia, but it was definitely tough. I didn't have very much time to spend on chess.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Princeton has a very strong chess program also.
Right.
And, they're always playing in the Pan Ams and going to the Team East. So it's not like Kapil has been doing no chess, but certainly difficult to juggle all those things. Okay,
Yeah.
so, not too many developments. I feel like Kapil's biding his time, but he's under 3 minutes. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens if he also gets into time pressure like Uni. But Uni, he's hovering about around a minute, so he's moving a little bit quicker now.
Yeah, I think both sides have done a pretty good job of maintaining the like neither of them has tried to imbalance the position yet, but they're both keeping all the threats in the air. And at some point, you could tell one of them's gonna do something to open things up, and that's when it's gonna get really interesting.
AE says split the money and run. Well, there's no money in it, so they're just gonna have to battle it over the board. There's nothing in it for them to take a draw, or to split the match. They'll have to. Only glory, so you have to win. Yeah, and we will have a winner. Both of our last 2 matches have been very close, by the way. The final scores were very close, came down to the blitz. And actually, both the rapid matches in both our first and second main events ended tied. Although in very different ways. The first one saw White winning both games, and then the second one saw 2 draws. But nevertheless, everything came down to the blitz. And I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happens here.
Although I kind of think we're getting a decisive result this game. It feels like they're.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be. D5 is very interesting. Now, if we go E5 for White, can Black play C5?
Oh yeah, these are the types of complications that Black maybe doesn't want, but may not have much of a choice.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of thought White might just play E5, but yeah, C5 would be interesting to sacrifice that pawn in exchange for the E pawn, and then opening up the bishop. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I gotta prefer White's position here, though.
I think so. Queen B4 is already pretty unpleasant move for Black to deal with, or maybe E5 now and then Queen B4.
Yeah, that A pawn's a little bit of a weakness, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's even like Bishop F6 type stuff, which could be a problem. F4, H4. White. I feel like White has so many different ways to attack right now. H4 followed by H5 might be good.
Okay, so here we go. A little bit getting into some complications. But you can't take that bishop ever, I don't think, because there's always going to be like a Queen H6 made on G7 idea. So
right.
Black just has to not capture on F6. That means that bishop is just a beast. Oh, well, he decided to exchange. That's interesting. I don't know if I would have exchanged if I was White. Okay,
yeah.
Players are both under a minute, so they're speeding up. And, I don't know. Oh, I see. This is pawn's a little bit poisoned because Rook H1.
Yes.
That was a nice move, King G2.
Right.
Oh, they're both moving really fast now. Now Black might be threatening to take on H4, so White plays H5. And yeah, what's going on here? I think, yeah, Black has to play G5, and then is White's attack going to materialize here? I'm not sure.
It feels like he's going for some E6 stuff.
Yeah, and Black is just trying to blockade everything. He's going for Rook A6 and Rook B6, I think.
Yeah.
Put some counterplay on the queen side.
Oh, he went away from that. White still keeps trying for breakthroughs. He's going for F4 now. F4 might be very strong here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks very strong.
Yeah, this king side is going to collapse, and Black's doing the right thing, getting counterplay on the other side of the board. But I don't know if it's going to be enough, because these rooks for White are so powerful.
Rook F6 now looks really...
Yeah. And is there a killer blow? Feels like it's close. E6 maybe?
G5. G5, yeah.
Oh, very nice. G5, yeah. We just have to break through, open things up, and I don't think Black's king will survive this. I mean, now the rook on a5 is very misplaced.
Yeah. So like h6 check.
Rook f5,
Okay, this
queen f5. Okay, yeah.
this is very strong.
And if I were, yeah.
Maybe e6 now. E6, h6. White's only problem is he has a lot of good moves here.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're attacking it, it's hard to be accurate and find the best winning move.
Yeah. E6 looks very powerful. You can even follow up with, if he takes, you can follow up with queen e5. Queen e5 is still possible.
Oh, rook g. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, very nice. Okay, one check, but once white gets out of check, then f8 is a killer threat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Queen takes
must
g5.
be made soon. Queen g5, queen h7, any of these moves. Okay,
or this.
Yeah.
King. Okay, that works too.
Rook f5. Yeah, everything. It's the type of situation where everything kind of works. And Black's just playing desperate moves right now, trying to get some checks in. But now that
after king h3, there's nothing.
Yeah, no more checks. Wow.
No. We just
surely f8. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's game. Okay. Well, we have a winner of our first game. Kapil strikes first and earns 3 points as white. And so, let me just see if here's the next game. Yep. So now the pressure's on Uni. He's definitely going to have to strike back in this game. But it's a little bit... I mean, it's a little bit risky if he tries too hard to play for a win, but he's definitely going to be feeling the pressure here. Let me just get these scores updated. Definitely nice to win the first game, though, for Kapil.
Yes.
That'll give you a nice confidence boost early in the match. Okay, so for those of you that maybe have just joined us, the format of the match is we're starting off with 2 rapid games. We just finished the first one. Time control is 15 minutes with a 2-second increment, and each game is worth 3 points. And that will be followed by Blitz with 3 minutes and 2-second increment. They'll play as many games as they can until time runs out at 5 o'clock. Yeah, so what's going on here? We have English and seems pretty typical so far, actually.
Yeah.
Uni moving a bit faster, making up for the previous game, perhaps. Well, I'm sure he's in theory, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played this line with white a few times, and I mean, you get some, you definitely, you have the bind with e4 and c4, and you kind of have some extra space, but sometimes it's a little hard to, if black plays like sort of knight bd7, a6, rook c8, queen c7, sort of hedgehog type setup, it's sometimes a little hard to get a breakthrough. Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense for Kapil's strategy here. He'd be very happy with the draw, I think. Going into the blitz with a 3-point lead would be a great way to start it off. So, yeah, he doesn't have to push for anything here. He can kind of let white try for something and maybe hope that he overstretches a little bit.
Yeah. White needs to be careful not to do that because it can be pretty easy to overextend, like go like b4 or something, and all of a sudden your c4 pawn might become weak down the road.
Right, exactly.
At the same time, black can't really do too much unless white kind of pushes for something. Black kind of has to wait a little, I think. It's the one challenging thing to do well with black here.
Yeah, I felt like, though, that Kapil did it well in the last game. He kind of, he could have maybe tried to be a little bit more aggressive when he saw Uni was getting down to a minute, but he kind of held off, just calmly developed his pieces and improved a little bit at a time, and then once they got really low, then he kind of went in for the kill.
Right.
So maybe we'll see something similar happen here, just black might bide his time a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, mean, the setups kind of speak for themselves. You already said white has this nice bind in the center. All the pieces are getting centralized. White occupies the center, has more space, but black kind of tries to aim at it from afar with the bishops, and maybe at the right moment expands on the queen side or possibly even in the center. But yeah, both players just kind of biding their time for now.
Yeah, queen c7 often leads to sort of queen b8 follow up, sometimes even queen a8. If you're looking, and then sort of an a6 b5 type plans for black.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more familiar with with that plan in conjunction with black playing f5, trying to just
Yeah, you could do
something
that.
do something to damage the pawns and play f5. But since he's moved his rook away from f8, that seems less likely here.
Right. He might go for a queen b8. I was going to say an e6 d5 plan, but he'd have to time that correctly.
Yeah, so Kapil finds himself down on time for the first time in the match. He's down a minute. Not a lot. Not something to be worried about at this point, but he can't afford to go too slow if Uni keeps playing quickly in this game.
Yeah, I think they're both playing faster this game than last game.
Well, yeah, much faster. I mean, by move 14, they were both down. They had less than 10 minutes each, so
right,
much faster this game. But that time scramble at the end of that last game was very exciting, and it makes me excited for the blitz portion of this match.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of exciting games. I mean, and both players are super sharp calculators too, so it's definitely going to be exciting to see.
So with bishop f1, maybe he's looking to go g3, bishop g2, and sort of get his own play on the diagonal.
Interesting.
Or maybe he's just clearing space for the queen to come to f2. Sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either.
I've often struggled with white in blitz games, at least with this sort of setup. I rush to try and open things up, and then all of a sudden all my pieces start hanging. You need to be very patient here with white to actually squeeze something.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be really careful, especially that this bishop on g7 doesn't become a monster. If you move your pieces away or if you leave your knights unprotected for one move, you can get punished. Yeah, but right now it's very solid. What's the bishop doing on g5 though? Is that? I mean,
maybe
really
he's
understand
hoping
that move.
Yeah, you would think bishop h6 is more natural, but maybe on g5 he's hoping to eye the e7 pawn. I know.
Yeah, I guess it was already protected though. The rook was already on e8.
Right. It doesn't seem best for sure. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That move just struck me as a little bit strange. And now I'm sure white maybe would prefer it on e3, where it could be aiming at the b6 pawn as potentially a weakness. But I wouldn't be shocked if he moved it back, although I'm sure there are other moves that white can do as well.
Yeah, I mean, as white in this position, you always want to play knight d5.
Knight d5, yeah, I was about to say. It's probably fine to play it here, I imagine, although what you're going to do after... Yeah, and they can't play e6, of course. Yeah. Oh, bishop e3. Wow, I was right.
Yeah, so he came back. He's eyeing the b6 pawn now.
Yeah, now that black played a6, b6 is slightly weaker. I mean, the knight still protects it, but if you have something kind of eyeballing it, then the knight on d7 can't really move so easily.
Right.
Yeah, and plus you add a little bit extra protection to your knight on d4 just in case.
Yeah. We could try knight e5 for black here. Kind of forces b3. Although I don't know if that's actually an issue or not.
I'm a little bit less nervous about playing b3 if I'm white because I've gotten my rook off the a1 square. The rook on the a1 square is always a little bit at risk to tactics from this bishop on g7. even though there are a lot of pieces in the way at the moment, that can change very quickly. Those knights just clear out faster than you might expect. So, yeah, but with the rook out of the way, I think white might be more comfortable playing b3 now, if they needed to.
Yeah, maybe we could also try something like knight c5 with black, um, with the idea being that if white plays b4 to kick the knight, those pawns might end up being overextended down the road. The b4 c4 pawns.
So you just kind of provoke a weakness and then move your knight back to d7 again.
Yeah, and then come around to e5 after or something. That's the type of thing where I get in trouble with blitz, where my opponent goes knight c5, I go b4, then all of a sudden I lose the c4 pawn a few moves later.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be careful not to overreact.
Yeah, and also with knight c5, we might have some plan of going knight d7 and f5. This makes sense too. I guess he wants to go for a d5 break.
Well, and he also prevents white from playing knight d5 himself.
There's that too, yes. Although, what do you do on knight c2 to just put pressure on the?
Yeah, I was gonna say knight b3, but okay, yeah, knight c2, and then there's a lot of pressure on the d6 pawn. What does black do? I mean,
you have to go bishop f8, I guess.
Bishop f8, yeah.
Then maybe bishop f4.
Well,
because I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that black wants to go e5 there, although might have no choice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that I mean, Kapil realized that this weakens his d6 pawn, so he must feel pretty confident that white doesn't have a good way to attack it.
Maybe he's just planning to go d5 and sacrifice the pawn.
Yeah. d5 and sack the pawn. Yeah. But if he puts this, just to blast everything open.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't calculated it, but it feels to me like calculating what to do against knight c2 or knight b3 is pretty critical here for both sides, because e6 looks very strong and it creates threats of d5 and it keeps your knight out of d5 if you're white. See, the concession that is made is that the d6 pawn is weakened. So as white, it's pretty critical to figure out if you can attack that pawn and try and win it. And as black, before playing e6, you have to have a plan about what you're going to do after a discovery on d6.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have a question in the chat while they think about that. Anonymous 3650 asks, what do 2400 players do better than 2200 players? That's a good question. You want to take a crack at that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it probably depends a bit on the player, but in general, 2400 players probably have a better grasp of opening theory, so they're better at, they're better at achieving positions that they understand from the opening, and often they're probably a bit better at the endgame as well. Maybe calculation plays a role.
So just generally better at everything.
I would think so. It could come down to, a 2400 might just be very good at one thing, but it's pretty unlikely. I think by the time you get to 2200, you're well-rounded enough that you're decent in most parts of the game, and 2400s are just a little bit better at all of those parts of the game. I mean, if I think about IMs that I know versus, say, someone like me, often a big difference I've found is knowledge of openings. I think IMs are a lot more versatile in openings than me, but they're typically a bit better at, endgames and middle game plans as well.
Yeah, I think because once you hit master, then your opening, or maybe even once you hit expert, then your opening repertoire becomes more and more important the higher you go up. And so, the difference between, say a grandmaster and an IM, or an IM and a 2200, probably going to be your opening preparation at that point, mostly.
Yeah, and that's even the case at the highest level. When you look at like a 2700 playing a 2600, oftentimes the 2700 sort of gets an almost winning position by force for the opening, just because they've analyzed it in so much more depth, and it was just pretty crazy because 2600s themselves are.
Yeah.
So we saw knight b3 and bishop f8. So.
Yeah. So the line we predicted is happening. Now we'll see if white plays bishop to f4. Yeah, if bishop to f4, can he play... If bishop f4, can he play knight to e5 then, maybe? As a
Yeah,
way
that
to
might be
defend the pawn.
what he's planning.
Yeah, because you really don't want to play e5 in that position. That really solidifies the weakness on d6 forever.
Yeah, that was one reason why I preferred knight to c2 over knight b3, because in that situation, I could follow up knight e5 with knight e3 or pawn to b3. Whereas now with the knight on b3, I do need to worry a little after knight e5.
Yeah, you might have to be a little careful about your c pawn because, like you said, there's no b3 advance. If like knight e5 happens, there's a rook and knight bearing down on that pawn, and a natural defense to that would be to play b3. And I don't think white really wants to be moving away the c3 knight to have to defend the c4 pawn.
Yeah, I think knight f3 might have been a little... So queen f2 makes sense, hitting the b6 pawn. I think...
Yeah, but Uni is, well, he's still doing fine on the clock, but he's gotten into a time deficit again. A little bit. 2 minutes, I feel like, is somewhat significant in a 15-minute game.
Yeah, so black could maybe play knight c5 here. Could also just play bishop a8, keeping... bishop a8 even might open the possibility of playing b5 at the right moment. And bishop a8 also keeps some knight e5 options open. I guess we could also go knight e5 here. I didn't immediately think of that, but it's...
And give away the b pawn in exchange for the c pawn?
For the c pawn, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if you'd want to do that yet with black, but it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, a lot of interesting options here. Question from Anonymous 1736. Have either of you ever played either of them? I think you mentioned that you hadn't played either player before. Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't played either.
I've played them both quite a bit. But most of the time when I played Kapil and Uni, they were much lower. So I think I have a good record against them both. Just it was when I was higher rated than them. So most of the games were from then. But yeah, both of them have played in many events at the chess club of Fairfield County, and so I know them both pretty well.
When was the last time that you played either of them?
Years. It's been years. I know. Let's see. I don't remember the last time I played Kapil, but the last time, well, I played Kapil on Blitz yesterday, but like in a classical game, I played Uni in a game for the Connecticut State Championships a few years ago, and we had he was outplaying me. We were similarly rated at the time, and well, he just got into time pressure at the end and made an unfortunate blunder, and but that's what gave me one of my titles, one of my Connecticut State Championship titles. So I've gotten kind of lucky against Uni a few times actually, but now I'm sure you just crush me. That was the last time I played him a few years ago. Yeah, so nothing recent. So I don't really know much about their openings that they're playing anymore.
Right.
Yeah, another anonymous person that says it's going to be brutal playing kids after quarantine. They've gotten stronger, but their ratings will still be where they were before. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. I might need to lay low from tournaments for a little while, even after things open up, just to avoid all these guys that have been having all this extra time to train and haven't unleashed it on anybody yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so bishop c6, yeah, that's similar to your bishop to a8 idea, but I don't quite understand it. I guess it's stopping knight a4, but I thought maybe it blocks the rook on c8.
Right, that's why I wanted bishop a8, but I guess they're very similar. Now knight d4 is coming to hit the bishop, and maybe now we'll just see bishop a8. I mean, he could also go bishop b7.
Well, then it'd be interesting to see if he goes back to c2 with the knight.
Right.
Yeah, maybe he's realized how the knight's not so good on b3. Maybe it's better on c2. See if he
Right. I
makes
think
a change
I
here.
think I think if he plays bishop b7, knight c2 would probably be the response. Although yeah, he
Okay,
went bishop
bishop a8.
a8.
I mean, but now if you go knight to c2, it's like you've lost a tempo compared to the other line. Maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't make a huge difference, but
But if you go knight b3, you've also kind of you still lost the tempo.
yeah, either way. But maybe you just play b3 right now.
Yeah. I don't know if d4 is really the correct square for this knight though, because with the knight on d4, we're not our bishop on e3 is not attacking anything.
Yeah, and you're
Uh,
not pressuring d6 either with the rook. Okay, king
right.
h1. I was not really expecting that. You'd only really play that, I think, if you're worried about something coming along the a7 to g1 diagonal, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I wonder what he's up to with that move.
Yeah, it looks a little suspicious to me, really, because I mean, the bishop on the a8 diagonal still has a lot of pressure down to the king. You're not. I would be wondering about playing something like d5 here for black and opening things up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now that the pawn on d6 isn't under any pressure anymore, black repositions the bishop to the center,
Yeah.
potentially hitting those knights again. So it's kind of like we're going backwards almost. I feel like we've seen
Yeah.
this position like a few moves ago. Uh, okay, interesting. They're playing a little bit of a maneuvering game here.
Right. Queen d2.
Yeah, who do you think will win the match? Says Dragon, and Anonymous replies, "Pick the guy who's already ahead by 3 points." Yeah, I wouldn't count Uni out. Um, this game could certainly go either way, and I do think that Uni has the advantage in the blitz. I hope so because I picked him to win it based on his blitz skills. Yeah, they'll have probably approximately an hour for the blitz. And so, I mean, that might be 8 blitz games or so, roughly.
Right.
And to make up 3 points would be pretty hard.
Um, he played 95. I've 95 is a very reasonable move, attacking c4. I'm still very tempted by just the idea of going d5 sometime soon, and I think opening things up, like from the b8 to h2 and a8 to g2 diagonals, is pretty good for black. This is like one of the things I've sort of struggled against with white. I often get this type of position with white, and d5 breaks are very challenging to play against. I don't know if it works here, but
Is there a way
d5.
that Kapil could delay it a little bit? Like, does that need to be now? Because I might,
I,
if I were Kapil, I might want to get my opponent a little bit less time before I start making complications.
I guess he could shuffle around, but if he shuffles around for, yeah, I mean, I guess if he shuffles around for too long, he needs to worry about, like, I don't know, bishop h6, bishop f4, even bishop g5 again. Now that his knight's on e5, maybe bishop g5 and queen f4 is like a way to start pressuring black without allowing d5 to happen.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. Like, what will white do if black just passes for the next few moves?
Right. I mean, black could try putting a rook on d8 instead of e8. As you said before, the rook on e8 didn't make that much sense, I think. I much prefer the rook on d8 with black. He's trying this h5. It's interesting.
So h5, maybe he wants to play like well, one idea might be king h7 at some point just to make sure there's no bishop h6 invasion ever. And but what else is he trying to attack on the king side? Yeah, I mean, actually, maybe this is really an idea to go h4 h3 if white would allow it, and try to open up the bishop from a8. I mean, if that ever happens, the king on h1 is going to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that this sort of position in a rapid time control or blitz time control is easier to play for black. Black just has so much flexibility right now about when to break through, and In general, in chess, the side that sort of controls pawn breaks is able to put pressure on their opponent. And in rapid, I think it's harder for white to figure out what to do here. Bishop f2 is probably nice. It stops h4, and
Yeah.
he can come to g3.
But you make a good point, because black is kind of the one in the driver's seat in a way, because, they decide when to play d5. They decide when they're going to push on h4 or any other moves to start to get things going here. And it's hard for
Yeah.
white to get any initiative anywhere, I feel like.
Yeah, and with a lot of time on the clock, you could maybe come up with something very creative. But with not much time, the fact that your opponent is controlling all the pawn breaks, and you always need to wonder which one's going to come and which one to defend against, it's just not easy with white.
Slav says that Kapil is a hedgehog specialist. Oh, Slav, how do you know Kapil so well? You're researching Kapil. Well, if that's the case, then we'll probably see this opening come up quite a bit more. It'll be interesting to see how Uni handles that in the blitz, because if Kapil has a big lead going into the blitz, I would imagine a hedgehog would be a good kind of weapon to use to kind of run out the clock almost. It's something very solid that Uni's gonna have to spend time and not, and that might limit the number of blitz games, thus limiting his chances for a comeback.
Right. Yeah. If I were Uni in this situation, I might switch up my opening with white and try to go for something different.
Yeah. Well, this game's not over yet.
Yeah, no, we'll see how it finishes up. I think he's doing a good job here. He's sort of neutralized quite a few of these breaks. D5 is definitely not coming anytime soon now.
He's got 6 pieces guarding D5, so I think it's out of the question. It'd be pretty brave for Kapil to play D5 in this position.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to... it's almost hard to have even more pieces than that guarding D5.
Yeah.
And they're pretty even. I guess Kapil black is up by about a minute, a little less than a minute. But that could, with the increment, that could change pretty quickly.
That could change easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from a few moves ago, I think Uni's improved his position a bit, or at least he's made it easier to play.
Yeah, I like the knight on e3 in particular.
Yeah. Not as sure about the bishop on e2, but it makes sense. I mean, he couldn't play something like g3 without hanging the f3 pawn. So now with the bishop on e2, he might even have f4 in play. So Kapil's going for b5, which is another sort of standard hedgehog break. But I was going to say I don't know if it works here, but I guess it doesn't.
I mean, he's not losing anything. He's got it protected enough times, but is there actually a threat?
Well, I was wondering if white could go f4 here.
Chase the knight. And where does it go?
It has to go to g4. But so f4, knight g4. If we could take twice, but then after b4.
I see what you're saying. Then b4, then the e-pawn hangs. Wow.
The e-pawn will hang at the end of that, so it doesn't actually win a pawn.
Well, he's going for it.
So he played it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going for it. Okay, so now we're gonna see some fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's starting to open up, right when we get into a little bit of time pressure for both players.
Right. And what I'm not sure which the correct piece to take it with is. Okay, knight. And now, I mean, I would not take on g4 here and allow
your
b4.
e-pawn's a little bit more important than that g-pawn, right?
Yeah, maybe queen.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say what the best move for white is here. What do you think?
Can you take on b5 and then play b4? That way you don't have to worry about the knight on c3 will always guard e4 and then be threatening to take g4? Is that awkward for black?
Maybe black can go d5 there. I just keep looking at getting d5 in.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would work.
Yeah, both players look very calm, but I think they're just very experienced players, and concentrating very hard right now.
So b4, maybe we don't even need to rush d5. Maybe we go knight f6 there, and that's pretty annoying for. So like if you like after b4 knight f6, we're defending our g4 pawn and hitting the e4 pawn.
Yeah, that's true. Also, after d5, the bishop's hitting b4. I forgot about that. That might be an issue as well.
Yeah. Although Bixie's been so patient about d5, I actually think he can afford to be a little bit more patient, improve his position even more, and then go d5. I still like black here, and white now only has Uni only has 35 seconds.
Yeah, he's gotta pick it up now. He's got to move. Yeah, so he
So
didn't.
Bishop d3 is a definite concession because now he can't ever even take on g4. Even f5 might be interesting here.
So, but we're still even in material, and the G pawn, is it a weakness later? I imagine it would be.
I guess in an endgame. Yeah.
Yeah, and if this goes to an endgame, although black's B pawn might hold back white's queenside a bit, so maybe the pawn structure is fairly balanced actually.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but
I think b4 looks interesting for black, and I think f5 looks interesting for black. Knight f6 also kind of.
Yeah, Kapil might have an important decision here on his hands because there are multiple moves that look interesting.
Yeah, f5 might be the cleanest. Knight c5. Oh, I didn't even consider that. That also looks good.
Well, if I were white, oh yeah. So if you play like bishop to b1, then you have to worry about b4 a little bit, right?
Yeah, b4 probably wins a pawn
and
there.
then e4 is a little bit so he has to take. Okay, that makes sense. And wow, that bishop on c6 looks very powerful. So white probably wants to play bishop e4 as soon as possible. Don't know if he's going to be able to. Yeah, because queen b7 is a good move.
Yeah.
Queen
e2 is a strong response though.
Yeah. So defending g2, but also we're hitting
even
b5.
Hitting b5. I think he might have actually just could have maybe taken that.
Oh, bishop takes b5. Yeah, why couldn't he take it? Huh.
I think he may have.
Did he miss
that?
So here, if black takes the bishop, then knight takes, and the knight gets to f6, most likely. I don't think black wants to trade bishops here. Maybe actually bishop e4 might be a pretty nice move. Because if he takes, then the knight becomes really powerful.
Yes.
You're gonna have in a minute, things are going to speed up even more because they're both under a minute, and things are getting a little bit messy here. So takes and knight e4 is one. Oh no, b5's hanging. Can he just take b5? Yeah. There we go. So white's up a pawn all of a sudden.
Although maybe there's like queen a8, and we still have continued pressure here. He went c4. That looks good too.
Yeah, that's a good move.
The initiative.
If the queens trade and then maybe they trade on c4. If the rook comes to c4, it's hitting f4 and all sorts of spots.
And black is totally fine there.
Yeah, actually, maybe black is fine here because what do you do as white? You can't play b4.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if white's better. I think you have to take c4 here. Oh, well, right as I said it, he did something else.
Yeah. Oh, interesting tactic. Okay, yeah, that was a nice move by Uni. He's going to get his pawn back. So he's going to maintain his pawn advantage. And black doesn't really have access to that f4 pawn. Oh,
yeah,
now he does.
Yeah, you could go rook a6 kind of whenever you want here. I don't know if that's best. Maybe
rook d2,
maybe not.
He does that, yeah. So this is a good move. This g5 lever, it's going to break white's pawn chain at some point and create weaknesses. So now the e5 pawn is a weakness.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say black has a good chance to win that pawn, and then all bets are off on who's winning. I don't know. Uni's down to just 4 seconds though, so he's got to keep moving fast. That's not good.
Rook a6 now is probably pretty strong. That's interesting move.
Well, I think he just wants to reroute to g7. He lost
flagged.
on time. Oh, jeez. Okay. So Kapil wins on time, and the players are going to take a 5-minute break.
So we're on the 5 minute break now.
Yeah, 5 minute break, you guys, and so we'll start at 4:13.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry, so we're on the 5 minute break now.
Yes. That's going to leave only 45 minutes for Blitz. Roughly 45 minutes.
And he needs to make up a 6-point deficit. So that, like, just winning 6 games of Blitz alone takes, it's 3-minute games. If they last the full amount of time, that's already 36 minutes. It's gonna be tough to
be really tough. I mean, at this point, I feel like he almost has to win every single Blitz game.
Yeah, he does, and he needs to win them fast too.
And fast. Oh, jeez. Oh man. Yeah, Unity is so calm, but he can't be feeling too happy right now. He's got a big deficit to make up, and it's definitely not going to be easy. Okay, so while we wait for the players to get back, I will just quickly remind everybody on the match format. We just finished the rapid portion of the match. The 2 15-minute games, there were 3 points each, so that's why Kapil has a 6-point lead right now, 6-0. He won both rapid games. And in just a few minutes, we're going to start the Blitz, which will be 3 minutes with a 2-second increment. But those games are only worth 1 point each, so it's going to be... well, Uni has a lot of work to do, let's put it that way, to make a comeback. And while we wait, I can show you, we have some upcoming events for CCFC, for the Chess Club of Fairfield County. We're going to keep a very busy Sunday schedule all the way through May. Next weekend, I'm giving a simultaneous exhibition against up to 20 players on chess.com. It's going to be interesting, and I'll also be commentating on it while I play it. So it's going to be, and actually the players we have signed up so far are very strong, so I'm going to have my work cut out for me doing that. I don't know how that's going to go, but it should be interesting to see. There are still some spots available for that. If anybody's interested in participating, you can sign up on our website. And then our next main event match is going to be on May 10th between experts Yoon-Young and Nathaniel Moore. That should be also a very close match. The players are very similar in rating. And then our fifth main event will be between FIDE Masters Vincent Say and Max Liu on May 17th. So we have those two main events coming up. We have even more that we're working on planning and getting on the calendar. For anybody who's interested in getting involved in a main event, if you're interested, you can email us and we'll see if we can get you in for a match. We also have Blitz every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on chess.com. We have Blitz tournaments, 5 minutes, and on Saturdays at 1 o'clock we have Blitz as well. So we hope to see you guys for any of those events. And of course, if you can see all the details on our website, fairfieldcountychess.com, and register for them there. Okay. Kapil, maybe you can just turn your microphone off for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Their players are about to get started again, you guys. Any minute now. So I'm going to keep an eye open for the game to start. I mean, what do you do if you're Uni in this position, Andrew?
Try to play quickly, win games fast.
Yeah.
You probably have to take it one game at a time, though. Just have to focus on still, not. I mean, there is a time. This is kind of a time to take risks because you need to start winning games quickly, but you probably don't want to go all out the first Blitz game. You want to try and keep control.
Okay, so the players have started a little bit early, so that helps helps Uni a bit.
Yeah, I guess that's the first smart move.
Okay, so
he
we have
goes
a Schliemann
right for
defense. Yeah,
Wow.
I remember Uni plays this a little bit. I used to play this a lot, and yeah, this is mainline theory. I think bishop to e7 is the main move, and then trades and yeah, actually, if white, yeah, taking with the knight is correct. If you take with the queen, then actually black gets a lot of counterplay. Um, what's going on here though? I'm not quite sure.
This looks like the setup that Kapil chose is pretty it neutralized a lot of the dangerous Schliemann
Yeah,
lines.
it's pretty solid. It looks like.
I mean, if he gets a queen trade and is up a pawn,
I
he's
mean,
not in that much danger of losing this game.
the queens are getting traded.
Yeah.
The queens are getting traded here. I mean, black does have the bishop pair, but he's down a pawn, like you said, and the way for black to get counterplay here will be, for example, if white were to trade queens right now, the bishop comes to either g4 or d5 and tries to take that knight on f3, and maybe the bishop takes on d4, but yeah, Kapil is just kind of holding off on trading queens and trying to just exchange pieces, which is a smart strategy.
Yeah.
Man, I just feel like even one draw is going to be hard for. That's just brutal for Uni.
If he's going to draw, he probably wants to draw at the next minute or so he can start another game with
Right.
white.
Right. Yeah, get the draw out of the way.
Yeah, I think this makes sense. And now sort of like bishop g4 maybe.
Yeah,
Or-
bishop g4 makes it hard for white to ever move the king away. And then you hope to get like a rook e8 check.
Although I guess bishop g4 you might need to worry about bishop takes f6. Castles.
Yeah, castles first. But still, yeah, if white goes rook e1, then we want to play bishop g4 and get some pressure on the knight coming from the bishop and the rook. That's black's source of counterplay. I don't think black is worse here. Or maybe not by a lot, but because he does have some counterplay.
Well, white can go bishop takes f6, and after rook takes, just go h3, and try to consolidate the extra pawn, trying to stop black's counterplay. Black definitely has counterplay here. White can't be much better.
Yeah, if he's better, it's only by a little bit. Yeah, so he's doing exactly like you said. H3 makes sense.
Yeah, I mean king e3 I guess is also a possibility, but h3 is just most logical.
Yeah, now the question is, where do we put this bishop? You could go bishop e6, bishop d5, perhaps.
Yeah, or bishop f5, bishop e4.
Yeah, okay, so he's activating his rook first. So b3 makes sense. But now my bishop d5 plan doesn't make sense. But yeah, but if I were white here, can we? Oh, I guess we can't go king d2. You play bishop e4 anyway.
But then I go knight e1, and I actually like that for white.
A knight e1. Yeah, but how are you going to get your rooks in the game?
I'll play f3 and then knight d3 next, and I'll slowly get my pieces into the game.
Yeah. So just hang on to the material as much as you can here. Is your strategy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, but now bishop to e4. What do you do? Knight e1 anyway.
Knight e1 anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe rook e8 check and then bishop takes h3, right? Bishop takes h3.
Yeah, so we get our pawn back then.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. I wonder if Kapil missed this with rook c1. Yeah, maybe he blundered that back. And now, actually, if anybody's better, it's going to be black because...
Right.
Okay, he didn't take. That was wise because then he would have had two weak pawns. And I think black would be invading with the rook, attacking everything. So he said, okay, I made a mistake. I'll let you have the pawn, but I'm not going to also weaken my pawn structure at the same time.
Yeah. But I think black is definitely slightly better now. He has ideas. He at least has some pressure against the king.
Yeah, and you also have the rooks are more active. You have the bishop versus the knight. There's also a potential pass pawn on the king side, the two
Right.
getting past that g pawn. So and black's weaknesses on the other hand, it's hard for white to go after them. Right?
Yeah.
The c6 pawn, the a6 pawn, a7 pawn. Okay, so Kapil, yeah, he's defending everything, so that's good. And maybe he wants
Yeah.
to offer an exchange of rooks with rook e2.
Right, but rook fe6 might stop that here.
Yeah.
H4 also makes sense. He's trying to get an attack on the king. Or I mean, if he can push the pawn up to, I mean, I think he can push it to h3 anyway right now. It looks kind of scary for white to be
Well,
after.
oh yeah, the h3 would have been a good move. Looked good to me.
I think so. And he's trying to prepare it a bit here. But I think the rook might have been just as good on f6.
Yeah, well, the other rook can maybe switch to f8. I don't know how important that open file is. Now, white can challenge for it anyway. Maybe.
H3 now still looks strong.
Yeah. Okay, he's doing a lot of preparation for h3.
Yeah, but now maybe king f2, and then you can't go h3 anymore. You've just wasted your time bringing your rook to g3. I think there was a slight inaccuracy maybe.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, if king f2 and he wants to play h3, he's going to have to retreat that rook back.
Yeah, then maybe I have the time to go knight f4 or rook h1, both of which are kind of key moves.
Okay, so he chooses knight f4. I liked your move king e2. That made, or king f2. That made a lot of sense.
Yeah, this is, I guess, similar. I mean, he could still go king f2 now. I think this is slightly worse than if he'd gone king f2 first. But
Okay, now rook back. Yeah.
and now rook h1. Yeah.
I still wanted to play h3, but maybe it didn't work in that position. Okay, so g4 might happen, or maybe rook over first and then g4 at the right moment. Okay, the players are speeding up because they're both
Very
down
low at time.
below 30 seconds. Yeah.
But I think white is probably around equal here. It's
Yeah,
probably
I think
not
he got through
worse.
the worst of it.
Yeah,
Although
I don't know about.
the knight on g1 was kind of awkward, actually.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a strange. But I mean, they have so little time.
Okay, so the knight is going on some journey. We'll see where it ends up. It can't go to e4, or maybe it could go to e4 actually. Yeah, e4 for the knight would be okay.
Right.
So black's just sacrificing this pawn, but it's just to try to generate weaknesses. White definitely won't take it because, rook a8, and then both pawns would be under attack. Yeah, so now black is switching to play on the queen side, but Kapil seems to be handling it well.
Yeah. Maybe c6 here.
C6.
This looks fine too. I think black still has a bit of pressure. He's gonna go rook b8 now.
Yeah, that b3 pawn is a little bit awkward, but it looks like it's just going to get traded for the c pawn.
Yeah, but black still has some pressure.
Yeah, that rook is way more active, but how do you
Rook-
actually do something?
Rook c3, I think.
Rook c3, get behind the pawn.
Oh, but then there's rook c6.
Yeah.
Wow,
Just a
he
draw.
took it.
Well, I don't know how he was going to make progress there. I think it had to be a draw.
Yeah, it was probably just equal. The bad thing for Uni is that it took quite a while. So
Yeah, that was a long game, and a long game to split the point.
yeah.
That just sucked up a lot of time that he needed desperately.
And it looks like they might be getting another similar sort of setup this game to the second rapid game. I mean, it's going to be a little different, but it's probably again going to be a Marasi bind structure. I mean, he can avoid it. He can play e3 here. E3 would avoid going into those e4 hedgehog lines. Or knight b3 does the same thing. Although I'm pretty sure that's considered a bad move.
Well, he just has to mix it up at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his choice of Schliemann, but Kapil did a good job neutralizing it till he made that middle game mistake. But
Yeah. So I think black doesn't have any problems here. Even something like knight b4 might be okay.
I mean, he's just got a super solid position. Yeah, whoever in the chat said that Kapil was a hedgehog specialist. Looks like you were right. That was
Yeah.
Slav. Yeah. Slav's advanced research preparation for the match has paid off. Seems like the fate of the match is almost sealed at this point. Yeah, that might be true. It's definitely a huge deficit that Uni has, but
Oh, is there knight d4, knight b5 right now? Knight fd4 followed by knight b5.
oh, looks like that might be what he's up to. What knight to b5? You said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because if takes, then pawn takes, and there's a pin along the c file. Yeah, that's an interesting tactic. But if he just moves his queen away, like to b8, you're not winning the d6 pawn, are you? Oh, he is playing.
Maybe not. Maybe I got overexcited by that. It looks so tempting, but
yeah, I was gonna say, the match might be sealed, almost sealed, but I think we're still gonna be in for some exciting chess. Certainly, this position is interesting.
Yeah, maybe knight d5 was played too quick. Knight b5 was played too quickly there. Maybe he had something better.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the fast games, we don't really have much time to go back and look. So
yeah,
just have to keep going with what the players are doing. So now looks like some trades might start happening, but I'm not sure what trades either side wants what pieces either side wants to trade. I mean, there is pressure on the c4 pawn, so I think White does need to take on e5, which he does.
And then maybe queen c2.
Queen c2, because of course you have to get out of the way of the rook. I don't know. I prefer Black in this position, I think. He's got the bishop. He's got this open file. His position is solid. I don't see how White can pressure the e-pawn at all. It's
right,
double
and
pawn,
Black
but
has
it's pretty safe.
Black has the b5 break, kind of whatever he wants. He might even have, so if f3 now, he might even have knight g4.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty scary.
Right.
Yeah, f3, knight g4, and then you're coming into e3 if you get the chance. Yeah, that would be very scary.
But if White goes e4, then maybe there's bishop b4. So king g1 makes more sense.
Yeah, but I mean, just look at Black's rooks and compare them to White's rooks. You gotta prefer Black in this position.
Yeah, I agree. Now maybe b5?
b5 now, yeah. Well, yeah, also, I mean, Kapil doesn't have to be in a rush, does he?
No.
Yeah, so I don't mind h5.
Yeah, this is an annoying plan. Also, if you're White here,
you seem to know all the annoying plans. Yeah. He just wants to break up the pawns a little bit and soften up the defenses around the king. Is that the idea?
Yeah, but he also has like h3, which would be a bit irritating.
With constant mate threats on g2, yeah. Oh, and then knight g4 would be a threat. Yeah,
I don't even know which is better between h3 or h6 g3. They're both. He's not rushing it, which is good.
I think he just wants to go king g7 maybe, and then maybe rook h8 and just take his time here.
So Uni stopped h3 with queen f1.
Yeah, but now rook h8, and there's going to be a mate threat on h1. Yeah, you're right. It's very annoying. He's going rook h8 here. And, okay, so White has to trade queens, and that's going to really hurt his winning. Oh, he doesn't trade queens. That's interesting.
He's still hoping to mate him somehow.
Yeah, but now with the pawn on e4, that's much harder, isn't it?
Yeah, but, rook h... Well, I don't know. I think maybe now might be the time for b5.
Yeah, maybe the point is White spent all these moves to get the queen over to g2, and now it's not needed there anymore. So he's going to have to spend a whole bunch more moves to get it back out again, and that's a lot of time that White's going to have to spend on that.
Right. And the mate threats aren't totally done. If the queen does leave g2 and then the knight leaves e3, then, we can push our pawn to e3 and renew those threats.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I still like b5 for Black here.
Yeah, he so far hasn't played it. Plenty of opportunities, but he's resisted it.
Yeah, and he did it for one more move here.
Yeah, what do you even do if you're White here? I mean, you could maybe go rook e8, queen h2, and try to mate him on h8.
Yeah, that's actually interesting idea.
I mean, you got to get some sort of something going here, right? You got to try
You
it.
might have somebody with b4. Well,
Oh,
he
trying to
played
trap
rook.
the rook.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have worked.
Yeah. I mean, he could go to G. Oh, he went to G5 anyway. So maybe B4 would have forced him to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, maybe the correct thing would have been. I don't know. Maybe queen e3 now. Still try and trap the rook. I don't know if it'll amount to anything.
Well,
Knight h5.
I mean, if you go queen to F4, is that what you think he's trying to do? Then knight H7 guards it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, E5 takes care of all of it.
Rook, but we still have this idea that you were saying with rook d8, queen h2, or queen h4.
Queen H4
actually.
is a threat here. Yeah, that's actually kind of nasty threat. You do not want to get mated or lose your rook here if you're black. So Kapil surely sees that, but he's only has 30 seconds to figure out how to deal with it. Okay, so we just move the... maybe he can just keep attacking the rook. Like, if the rook goes to A, he goes queen b7. If the rook comes back, then he goes queen back. Just keeps attacking the rook until it moves away off the back rank.
But if I play, that makes sense.
I mean, if black's okay with a draw here, probably... I mean, given his match situation, I think he is.
Yeah. I think he has to go queen b7 here. He went queen d7. He wants to take out g4.
Yeah, but can I go queen h4?
Right.
Oh, okay. Now he has knight h7.
But now you're not threatening g4 anymore, and so maybe I could play king f. Okay, he just took that.
Okay, he got a pawn. 2 pawns.
Yeah, and
this is dangerous though.
He has to go knight f5. Oh, I was gonna say he had to go knight f5 check, but I guess this. No, this looks worse than knight f5.
But f3 is coming, right?
Yeah, knight g5 then f3 maybe.
Knight g5, yeah, very nice. And f3 will win a piece, but right now there's a threat on e5, taking that with check. I don't know how dangerous that is, but yeah, he decided to ignore it. Yeah, because just king h7. Well, rook b8. I thought he should play rook b8. Oh, he's getting mated if he doesn't. Yeah, that's the problem. Rook g2 is a huge threat.
King f7 was probably correct, but I guess Kapil's fine with.
Well, king f7, then there's queen f6 though, right?
Oh.
And then you get rook b8 hitting you. Rook b8 now? Oh, king f7. Oh, there's no checks. You can't go queen h7 because the knight is guarding.
Yeah, wow. So this is lost.
Wow, that was...
Knight takes just wins on the spot, yeah.
Wow, that was very nice.
That was a very exciting time scramble, but this is just getting worse for Uni now.
It's getting worse, yeah.
Down 7 points now.
Yeah, starting to feel a little bit bad. He needs to get some wins at least to, get some points. Let's go. Okay, I'm just going to update the scores here. So Kapil has, at this point, almost certainly an insurmountable lead, but with 7.5 to half. Just get this updated. But that doesn't mean that Uni's going to stop fighting.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting this game. I mean, it was a Catalan-style Slav where he took the pawn on c4, which is definitely, double-edged choice. He's trying to take an extra pawn here.
Yeah, I never know what's happening in these Catalans from either side.
Yeah.
So hard to tell what's happening. Black knight d5 looks like a good move. I mean, white never takes because you can just recapture and then that actually fixes black's pawn structure. But e4 at some point might be a move for white.
Yeah, it's never that easy for white to win the pawn back here. White is supposed to play for the initiative kind of and just forget about it. White's best way of getting the pawn back is to not try and get it back and to try and attack instead. So maybe something like knight e5.
Knight e5, yeah. Counter attack on the weak c6 pawn, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get the pawn back right away.
Yeah, and I think that typically doesn't work so well for white. I play the Catalan with white and have sometimes struggled a bit here. And with black, I often take this pawn just because... and now, now white doesn't have that much initiative. Like something like e4, you even need to worry about knight b4, knight d3.
Yeah.
And that's why knight d2 is not the most advisable. He may end up getting it back now, but he definitely doesn't. He's definitely not better. B5 is playable here. I don't know if he wants
B5,
to
if he
do it.
takes, then you take back with the bishop?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or knight
interesting.
b4, or knight b4 first, and then take back with the bishop.
I see, yeah, you defended the bishop. So now the bishop's defended, and the idea is to play b5 next?
Well, now he doesn't have to play it any. Oh wait, I guess he still has to play it.
Is that knight trapped?
Yes.
The knight is just
Wow.
trapped. Oh, queen c3, and the knight doesn't have its retreating square anymore. It looks like the knight is trapped. Because where do you go? I mean, the bishop guards these guys, and over here as well, and this is guarded by the pawn. Well, that might be our first like outright blunder in the opening.
Yeah, but it's exactly what I was saying about the danger. Try to just win that pawn back with white. If you try to win that pawn back, you face a lot of issues.
Yeah. Question: how did the score get so lopsided? Yeah. Kapil managed to win both of the rapid games. Each one of those were worth 3 points each, so he was up 6-0 going into the blitz, and then he's won a blitz game as well, and drew the other one. So unfortunately, hasn't been able to pick up a point yet, but now he's up a piece. And
This should be his first point for sure. Although I don't know why he brought that knight instead of the knight on b4 to d5. It seems a little strange.
Yeah, but he should be okay here.
Yeah, he's up a full piece.
Yeah.
It makes sense that Kapil's not resigning though, because he wants to run the clock down.
Sure. Yeah, he's gonna play it out. Make Uni prove that he can win it. I mean, surely he's gonna win this game, but yeah, a little bit of clock management going on here. Does White have any counterplay? I mean, he's got more space, but it doesn't seem so important at the moment.
No.
Actually, that move's a little bit annoying because if you play a5, then the knight takes on b6. So maybe you have to play knight a6. Yeah.
C5 might have. Oh, well, maybe C5 didn't work. Yeah. So knight a6 is forced. Yeah, that's kind of ugly.
It's unclear. Yeah. Well, we can play c5 at now maybe. Oh well, no, not if the queen gets under attack. You're right. I see. Yeah. So he's got to get his queen out of there and then try to do it, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I think unnecessarily so. If we brought the other knight to d5, this wouldn't have happened. He could play g5 here. Although then there's bishop e5, I guess.
Kapil's playing very aggressively. Like this a4, bishop f4. He's just hitting black all over the place. Like, you would think that white was better here if it weren't for that piece.
Yeah,
that black.
He's managed to get some pressure.
Yeah, and
maybe knight b4 is the best move. Come back. Yeah.
Knight b4, good call. I mean, if I'm white here, I want to do something like move my knight away from e5 and oh wow, what's going on? I think there's a tactic with the queen taking. No, is there?
Well, he could also take on c7 next.
C7 saying, yeah. Okay, I
guess that was what was.
So white picks up a pawn on top of it.
But bishop takes c6 still looks fine for black, and if bishop takes c7, bishop takes a4.
Now a4 is hanging, right?
But then e6 hangs.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
Very clever. I think he could do it though. I mean, bishop takes a4 looks fine.
Yeah. Okay. So now he's hitting f2, so the bishop comes back to block that.
Now rook c8, and he's got some pieces traded.
And I feel like black is consolidating the advantage though.
Yeah, although white has two pawns, I guess, for the piece.
Yeah, 2 pawns. That's true. So it's not going to be a cakewalk, that's for sure. And this is, I mean, Kapil continues to play very aggressively here, which is probably what he needs to do in this sort of situation.
Yeah, although did he just, whoa.
Is this what's happening?
Did he just Did Uni just blunder a piece?
Is there, yeah, I
There's
don't
no
remember what just
intermezzo
happened.
here. He just blundered a piece. And
Oh,
so now
jeez.
Kapil's winning.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. And he resigns? I wonder if that was a little bit premature to resign there, but
I guess he realized that he had no chances of winning the game anymore, and he preferred to have an extra game to play as opposed to try to save the half point.
yeah.
I don't know.
That was a pretty exciting game. I thought for sure that Uni would win that game, but Kapil, you got to give him a lot of credit there because he played very energetically. He didn't
Yeah.
like just give up, and extends his lead.
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have won that game. I think under normal circumstances, Uni would have
Sure.
cleaned up that game.
And anonymous 8078. No, it's not given that Black will win at all. Well, he proved to be right. I think when he won the piece, it was somewhere Uni misplayed in the middle game, and Kapil just kept coming up with very aggressive moves. Kept him on the defensive the whole time. He never got to use that piece.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're seeing some different openings. Definitely, the players are mixing it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Uni has to, I think.
Yeah.
Hasn't really had success yet against Kapil in the opening, except for the last game. I wonder if Kapil will play his Catalan again. It'd be interesting to see.
I would guess that he won't because it didn't go too well last time.
Yeah. Oh, that was just a huge missed opportunity for Uni, though.
Yeah. This is a strange position. Can Black just take out d5 here? E takes d5, and then...
He's been thinking for a long time on this move. Am I caught up? What's going on here?
Yeah, he's been thinking for a long time.
He used
Played
almost
E5.
half his time. Yeah.
This could be an opportunity for Uni again.
Yeah, he's got to take advantage of that. So now White has a pass pawn, but it's not going anywhere anytime soon because there's so many black pieces in the way. So Black is counting on trying to make that pawn, saying, "Oh, that's going to be a weakness. I'm going to just attack it as much as I can. I'll keep it blockaded, and hopefully put White on the defensive with there." And White will try to make it dangerous. I think that's how this game is going to go. That's going to be the storyline here.
Yeah. I think maybe White could try knight. I was going to say knight e4 now, but it might not be that good. Maybe a3 is a better move. a3 is probably reasonable. a3 kind of forces bishop takes c3 because if you go bishop c5, I go d4, and if you go bishop e7, I go d6.
Oh yeah, I see what you're up to. Yeah, if the bishop ever goes back, then there's d6 traps the bishop. So that's one example of that d5 pawn becoming very powerful. So he goes d6 first. Interesting.
I'm not sure. This
Definitely
looks
very aggressive, but
yeah. I mean, this is probably strong too. Can he play? I mean, a3 now is definitely still an option.
what about knight d5?
I was wondering about that. Can I go bishop takes d6?
Oh, bishop takes d6. Yeah.
And knight takes f6. Knight takes f6.
Okay, so if it weren't for bishop d6, I think that might be working. But
That
the
would be
problem
very
is,
strong.
problem is this move. Will Uni win a single game? I don't know. He was very, very close to the last one. I hope so. I mean, you definitely need to get on the board. The players
Now
are
I
so
think-
close in rating. He should be able to win a game. Come on, Uni.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, maybe his confidence was just shattered after the rapid. Losing those two games was crucial.
Last game must have been a really big. Like that would be such a frustrating missed opportunity.
Yeah. You think like you're from the beginning of the game, you're thinking, okay, this is it. I'm gonna win, and then you don't get it. That's psychologically that's hard to handle.
Yeah. I think he may be overextending a little bit here. Can I just take out d6?
Yeah, I don't see why not. And the idea is takes, queen takes, and then the knight on c7 hangs.
Right. It sounds like queen takes c7, and I even get a queen trade. I think out of the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you win a pawn too, right? You're up a pawn,
Right. I
get a queen
win
trade.
a pawn, get a queen trade, and at the end of it, I'm attacking the bishop on c4.
Yeah.
This has been a very weird game, I think.
We've seen a lot of mysterious king to corner moves
H8. Yeah.
in all of these games.
From both players.
Yeah. Here it makes even less sense to me. I honestly don't have a. I mean, I guess the bishop was aiming at him, but you weren't planning to move that f pawn anytime soon, so I'm a little bit surprised about that move.
Right.
Okay, so here comes. Oh, maybe there was there some tactic earlier? No.
There wasn't, though, because the rook wasn't on c1 yet. He was kind of defending
Right.
against the tactic before it happened,
Right.
but it was. But I mean, I guess he won the pawn anyway.
Yeah, players rarely play matches. A different psychological challenge, says Anonymous 6274. That's definitely true. Usually you're playing like a Swiss, so you don't have to face the same opponent over and over again. And if
Yeah.
somebody gets on a roll, it can be very hard to regroup, especially when there's not really there's definitely no breaks in between these blitz games. They just go right into the next game. You don't have time to kind of regroup and think about your strategy necessarily. So how you handle yourself is really important. What is going on here?
I think there is another missed opportunity, though. I think there's a queen takes c1 possibility, which may have won.
In between move of some sort, yeah. But well, so black just gives up the bishop. He knows he's going to lose it anyway, so he at least grabs a pawn for it. Man, everything is hanging here.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about white's f2 spot, but maybe he's fine after just bishop back. Yeah. Okay.
White might actually be better at the end of all of this.
Now black has some weak pawns, right? And this bishop is.
Oh, but did he just blunder a rook? Yeah.
Oh, he just blundered his rook. Jeez. Okay.
He could have, if he just taken on f7. Next game started, right? But I think white had just ended up better when.
Okay. So another one for Kapil.
Yeah, Uni's definitely psychologically not in the best shape, but that's why this is happening. He's blundering that rook is totally unnecessary.
I mean, I wonder if part of it is just he hasn't been playing many tournaments lately. I mean, he just, as we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, this is his first year in university, and
Right.
I wonder if he just hasn't had much time to play or practice chess, and with his studies.
Yeah. It's a big adjustment. I remember my first year at Columbia, I lost about 100 rated points. I didn't really have any time on chess. It was just working on classes. I tried to play some tournaments. It was just losing left and right.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Kapil, Princeton has a great chess program, and so he's been, able to practice and play quite a bit. Also, he's graduating this semester, so he's probably ready to be done and get back to some more chess. Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, we have Daniel Lowinger in the chat. Welcome, Dan. Played in our first ever main event match, and which he won. So congratulations, Dan, on that. And soon, as a member perk for members of the Chess Club of Fairfield County, we will be getting some of his videos that he's been making. He's been working very hard on those to share with the members of the club. And so, if you're a member of the Chess Club, be sure to pay attention to your emails in the coming days. We hope to be able to have those out to you. Some really great material that he's done on a variety of topics. Anything special happening here? It looks pretty even to me.
Yeah, although white's a bit behind in development, but probably not much of an issue. Maybe black's a bit better, but he has bishop e6 threatened.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I mean, just symmetrical pawn structures and no other imbalances really besides the development, as you mentioned. But maybe that's enough. I mean, bishop e6 to put some pressure on white looks good to me.
There might also be e4 here. I don't know if it works, but it could be annoying.
Yeah, where does the knight go actually? To d2, but then if he goes to d2, he can't castle until he has that knight protected.
Right. He might follow it up with knight c4 though. So maybe this wasn't so good.
Oh, bishop to e6 now.
Bishop e6, maybe queen e2. I mean, sorry, queen c2, hitting the e4 pawn.
Yeah, and then the e4 pawn's attacked 3 times.
Yeah, but there is knight b4.
Or also bishop f5 in that position is possible.
Yeah.
Okay, important decision for Uni here. You got to find something,
Yeah.
an active plan of some sort. Okay, so yeah, he's going for bishop g4, and if white takes, knight takes, castling seems very risky because you're gonna have the queen coming to h4, the knight attacking h2, and the rook sliding in at some point. But is he down a pawn here? What's going on? Just lose a pawn.
Yeah. He lost a pawn, but he has attacking chances.
Yeah.
I don't know what the best way to go about those. I also feel like they're not that good in this case because these knights, the rook's under attack on d6. It needs to go somewhere.
Can you go rook e6 and if the knight moves away, then sack on e3? I don't.
Maybe
might be grasping at straws here.
But,
like if the knight goes to d2, I want to play rook takes e3, and if pawn takes, queen takes, and maybe we're in business. But I don't think Kapil's going to do that. I think he just plays queen c2 or maybe even f. No, I can't play f3 because e3 hangs.
Maybe knight d5.
Yeah, knight d5 was the other thing, but then can I play queen h4 maybe?
Yeah, that could be dangerous.
And then I'm threatening to sack on e4 and take you on f2. I don't.
Although
I don't know.
Knight d5, queen h4, g3.
Yeah, I just wanted to provoke some weaknesses.
Yep. h3 looks. It's still queen h4.
Still queen h4, yeah. Yeah, queen h4 and you're threatening knight takes e3.
Yeah.
It's something. I don't know, but maybe white just castles.
Or you could maybe be really cold-blooded and try queen takes b7. I don't think that works, though, actually.
Yeah, difficult position. Okay, so he's going for this.
This looks bad because we have f3 at the end of all of it. Like after queen takes e4, I can just go f3. Or I could just wait. I could just take out g4.
Can you just take the knight? Yeah, I was going to say if we just take the knight.
Just take out g4.
So an exchange sacrifice, but the problem is you're just down too many, like you don't have any pieces left to attack him with. Okay, actually there's one idea here of going knight to e5 and knight f3 next. So, maybe white's king could find himself in a little bit of trouble in the center. You're not castling.
Yeah.
That looks potentially a little bit dangerous.
It does. I guess we need to go rook f1 now.
Rook f1
and now
knight e5.
Knight e5, and this is definitely scary. King e2, I guess, or maybe king d2.
King d2, yeah, but then I have rook to c8. Sorry, I mean
rook d8.
I meant check first and then, rook d8,
and then king c2. I'm going to try and run too, but I might not be able to run actually. This is definitely scary for white. That looks suspicious.
Yeah, so Kapil reminds Daniel Lowinger of Bobby Fischer just crushing everybody 6-0 in candidates matches. Yeah, you have to be very strong psychologically, that's for sure, to be able to get a score like this.
Yeah, although I think Kapil will probably lose this game.
Isn't queen f3 mate? Oh no, the queen guard's on d1. Okay, so we don't quite have a mate, but it looks very dangerous.
Yeah, there has to be. This is strong. Yeah.
Knight f3 is a killer threat. Knight f3, king e2, rook d2 would be mate. So f4. Yeah. He goes in anyway, but I would just take it, I think, and maybe play queen c2 and argue that you don't have a mate.
Yeah, but we're up so many pawns, maybe we just go h5.
h5. Yeah, what if we just start running the pawn?
Or we could trade queens down and then win that game.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything about the result because I don't want to jinx Uni. I want him to, but yeah, h5. Yeah, here he goes. Yeah, how would you stop this pawn if you're white? It's very annoying. E3 is weak.
Oh.
Oh, so there's a counter threat on f7. Black has to be very careful not to miss that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to mate him now, though. Did he miss? No. I thought maybe he missed queen c1 and taking the rook. But okay, now b6 and the rook is gone, so that's game. Okay, Uni is on the board. All right. So we probably only have enough time for maybe two more games. Yeah. We'll have to see how long this game goes. But Uni did get on the board, so unfortunately he didn't do it sooner. But that was a nice attacking game, actually.
Yep.
It was a good gamble, giving away the sacrifice, the exchange.
Yeah, that was. I think he played that game well from start to finish. And the exchange stack was very creative.
Okay, well, we've seen maybe not this exact position, but pretty close to it already before. Uni not afraid to play it again.
Yeah. Not that sure about this move order. I think this might be.
So does Black usually take this bishop? I guess
not,
white, because the bishop's usually trapped.
Yeah, I don't think that White's supposed to allow this bishop to get captured like this. I think knight e3 would have been better than queen e2, but it makes sense that he won't take it yet.
Yeah, he'll just wait until maybe White's ready to move the bishop back somewhere, and then he'll take it.
Yeah.
If that's what he wants to do.
He might even just be able to go rook c8, get pressure on the c pawn really fast. And again, like there's the b5 ideas, all that stuff. And rook c8 right now looks strong.
Okay, so Uni's trying to counter that with going bishop g3.
Bishop g3.
Pinning the knight. Yeah, it makes sense.
But maybe we go bishop d6 there.
Yeah. Well, he's been playing d6 though a lot, Kapil. So I would expect him to play d6 at bishop to g3. Maybe. Yeah. Although now's his chance to take that bishop if he wants it.
Yeah, there's also bishop b4, which could be annoying.
Yeah, good call. Bishop b4.
Yeah, I definitely prefer to be black again here.
And just taking on c3 is an idea, right? Just to give him double pawns when white captures. Yeah, and those pawns are very weak. So, but if you play rook c1 in this position, then you're losing your e pawn. Maybe he has to take on f6 first.
Mm-hmm.
Or he doesn't have time for that though, because then I take on c3 with check.
So he played f3 instead.
Yeah, but now he has to. If black wants to, they can give him the double pawns. And I think the combination of taking on c3, taking on d3, and all of a sudden that c pawn is going to be very hard to keep it safe, because you play. Maybe you have ideas of a5 and bishop switching to this diagonal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this.
Still not taking the bishop though.
Yeah, maybe he should have taken the bishop. But I guess this is a permanent weakness for white with those double pawns.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
I guess he wants to play knight c5 now.
Yeah, and the thing is, black's b6 and d6 pawns could be weak, but white's not even close to attacking them.
No.
Yeah, Anonymous says, 2 fine young gentlemen, always pleasant to be around. That's definitely true. I don't think you could really find two nicer guys to play chess with. So we're happy to have them join us too, for this match. And the games have been exciting. I mean, the score obviously is pretty lopsided, but the games have been fighting chess and fun to look at. Okay, so bishop e7 is a threat here.
Yeah.
Maybe he missed that on the last move.
Oh no, wait, his bishop is on d3. So that's right.
Okay, now it's a threat. Yeah, so that's why Ricky ate.
Now bishop a4 maybe is kind of a nice.
Yeah, and actually now white does have some pressure, right? The rook's coming down, the bishop's crisscrossing.
And now he could maybe go. I was gonna say bishop b5, but yeah, no, I think bishop b5 could work. I think at least he solved the problem. I think now black might regret that he didn't take that bishop on d3 before.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a repetition. So if black is ready to settle for a draw, he can go back. If they have a draw right now, then we would have one more game. So I don't know if Uni really will want to play another game, but who knows if he's up for another one.
Well, he declined the repetition.
Okay.
So we probably won't have one more.
Probably won't have one more, yeah. Yeah, so this bishop potentially is hitting b6, but black immediately kind of blocks that off. Yeah, knight c5. That those knights are for black are very nicely placed. Man, this light squared bishop's been all over the place.
It has.
It's had quite an eventful game. Not much progress is being made. I thought for sure black would put the bishop on a6 and really try to attack the pawn on c4 that way. I think maybe that's what he's finally doing now. Could be wrong, but that was my first instinct, because what else are you going to do with that?
I think after all these maneuvers, white initially started out improving his position, and I feel like now black's been improving for the last couple moves. Bishop a6 looks kind of strong.
Wow, h4. He's going for it. I like it.
Yeah.
He's going for it. Thanks, CCFC. You're welcome. Yeah, we're happy to put on these matches. They're a lot of fun to do. Fun for the players. I think for the most part, the players have said they really enjoyed them, and hopefully fun for the viewers as well. Okay, I don't know. I feel like
he just gave up the c4 pawn. Bishop takes c4 couldn't be played. I think.
Well, this shuts down any. I mean, if the queens get traded, that shuts down any counterplay white had on the king side.
Yeah, it kind of feels to me like black will win this final game now. Though.
Yeah, and they're both down to 10 seconds. So yeah, this is going to be the last game of the match because we were past 5 o'clock, but we have some final fireworks. So. I'll just have to watch. White just won oh no, they traded pawns, okay. And I don't really know what's going on here.
No.
I don't know what's going on here. I am starting to lean towards black is better, but well, keep changing my mind actually.
Yeah. Now it looks like white is better. A few moves ago, I think black was better. Did he have rook d7? Did he miss?
I mean, this rook on a7 is very strong.
Right.
And the bishop pair here. Also very strong. Okay, so now he's going to win a pawn. It looks like Uni's
he won a piece.
And a piece. He's going to win a piece. Yep. So Uni wins the final game. Although it's not official yet, but any second now. Yep. Okay. Wow, great match.
Yeah.
Let me just update the score, and then we'll get the players here for their final thoughts. Let's see. Okay, you guys. Kapil, I don't know why, but I have a lot of feedback on yours.
Oh, I can try it using headphones.
That'd be great. Okay, thanks both of you guys. It's a great match. And Kapil, congratulations.
Thanks.
Did you have any strategy going into the match or anything like that, or just figured you'd play, or what?
Not too much in particular. I guess because our 15-minute games took so long, they ended up mattering like a lot more, I guess. In the 15-minute games, I tried to move like quicker than I normally would, just because I think using like 2 minutes on a move where like you have like two pretty good options is kind of a waste in the long run. It's probably like not going to make that big of a difference, and the 2 minutes later would be much more important. So I tried to move a bit quickly in the 15-minute games. In the 3-minute games, nothing really in particular.
Okay. Uni, are you there?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the match? I know it was a rough start, but later on in the Blitz, you did have a nice little comeback, and you did win the final game. So it was nice to see you get on the board there. But any general thoughts on the match?
I think he played well. I think I just played way too slowly in the rapid games. The second one was a bit unfortunate. I think I was winning at some point, but yeah. I got a bit tilted probably after that in Blitz.
Yeah, it's definitely in this format very difficult if you don't get on the board in the rapid portion. Then it's almost impossible to make a comeback after that. There's just so much pressure to have to win every game. Okay, let me see if there's any players in the chat, any watchers, observers that would have any questions for the players. Now's your chance. I know that everybody really enjoyed watching the match, even though the score was rather lopsided. The games were very exciting. So definitely want to thank you guys for playing. It was a lot of fun to watch. And chess plans for the future. Maybe start with you, Kapil. Anonymous 8324 wants to know, what are your chess plans for the future? I know you're about to graduate from college.
Yeah, so I'm about to graduate from undergrad, but I'm going to grad school next year. So hopefully I'll still be active, at least for the short term, in college chess. And I'm not like pushing myself especially hard at this point, but I like to play like over the summer, especially when I'm a bit less busy with school stuff. So getting like IM at some point in the near future would be good. I think I should just play more norm tournaments.
Do you know where you're going for your graduate school?
Yeah, so I'll be at U Chicago.
Okay. Great. And Uni, what about you? Any plans for the future? I know you haven't been so super active in tournaments in the last few months, but and I know that you just started school at Yale. But any plans for the future or chess
I haven't
wise?
played anything since last summer, I don't think, but obviously this summer is a bit off the rails, but hopefully maybe try to get those last norms sometime in the future.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, we'll definitely keep an eye on you guys as you try to get those norms and the titles, and we'll be rooting for you. Okay. Thanks very much, you guys, for coming. It was a lot of fun, and we will see you soon. Thanks for everybody that tuned in to watch the matches. Thanks for your comments, and hope you enjoyed. One last time, did want to just bring up, let you guys know about some of our upcoming events for those of you that maybe didn't see earlier. Next Sunday, I'll be doing a simultaneous event online using chess.com against up to 20 players. There's still a few spots left for that if you want to register. Anybody under 2,000 USCF is welcome to join. And And we do have more main event matches like this one coming up. Our next one will be on Sunday, May 10th, between experts Caden Young and Nathaniel Moore. And then on Sunday, May 17th, we have our fifth main event will be between Vincent Say and Max Liu. And, of course, anybody is welcome to participate in any of our Blitz tournaments or regular tournaments that we've been having. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 1 p.m. You can participate in those. Anything you want to register for or for more details, just visit our website, fairfieldcountychess.com. And we will see you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody. And thank you, of course, to Andrew Ryba for co-commentating. Are you back, Andrew?
Yeah, just got back.
Okay, maybe just your final thoughts on the match?
Yeah, it was very exciting. It felt like the games were, they had a lot of interesting moments, and came down to a lot of time scrambles, which were pretty fun to watch, at least.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for commentating with me. Thanks, Kapil and Uni, for playing, and we'll see you all soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot for listening to this.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you.